Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Gonna go ahead and take a look here at Loopring. Got a lot of requests from this. Thank you, Imam, for asking that I cover this, of course. It's good to kind of understand what's gonna happen in the next steps here. Hopefully we can identify that. But generally speaking, the whole purpose here is to help you identify best practice, big picture, what might happen here in the near future for LRC. Is it gonna retrace and keep coming back down, or is it ready to rock and roll? We'll take a look and see. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade. If you want to become a community member, CryptoCache.tech is the website. Link below, of course. Make sure to check that out. I teach you how to trade with my trading academy. I send signals for every single trade that I take so you can share in that profit and effectively become a better trader by learning how to structure your trades. It's not about buying low and selling high. It's about when to buy low, when to sell high, and how to effectively structure your trades with trailing stop losses, multiple profit targets, etc. Anyways, I cover all that, of course, if you want to check that out. Once again here, so for Loopring, LRC, we've seen some red here today, of course. Makes sense. That's very standard for these type of pumps, right? So you gotta understand, pumps will have dumps. That's why I like healthy continuation patterns. 50% in one day isn't my idea of a good time. I don't like the tumultuous up and downs. I prefer to have consistency, and obviously you can't choose that, but coins like this that have significant news as well as big players affecting the market, you got to understand you're going to be susceptible to having those kind of things happen. That being said, take a look here. We're above the 50 and under the 200, so we're kind of right in that sweet spot, so to speak, where if given enough time, the 50 will work its way up to the 200 and naturally push the price action higher. That could effectively happen. So just keep that in mind. This is not dire straits by any means. This correction makes perfect sense based on 50% in 24 hours or less. Looking at the RSI, we bounced, basically rejected off of 70 on the RSI. So worst case scenario, the price continues to progress lower. We'll see a bounce off of 92/93 cents, the most recent Fibonacci retracement high, or basically just the resistance level for the price action right here. Okay. So just keep in mind, that's a worst case scenario. I like to give that to you just in case, worst comes to worst and you understand, and try not to be naive going into this. There is potential for a larger pullback. Taking a look at the 4 hour, here's kind of where we're at here for this. We are above both moving averages. Excellent news. We have this a lot for a lot of other coins right now, and it really just means that the 50 should eventually work as a support if it were to come to that. So the price continues to progress sideways or lower. The 50 could work as kind of an ascending type of pattern. Another thing to acknowledge too that we could draw out here as well, that might be appropriate, is this continuation we're seeing here. I'll actually make that a little bit better. We could very well see a trend line like this occur. Okay, so that does kind of lead us to believe that maybe we might see 2 more weeks worth of sideways action before it breaks to the upside. Not saying it's going to take that long, but there is potential, right? We can't excuse that, so to speak. So again, this increase was all well and good, but again, 8 hours, 50%. That's not right. That isn't good. We don't like to see that kind of pump, because again, it leads to this kind of action here. So how low will it go? Probably no lower than $1, which is basically 99.7 here. It's a Fibonacci retracement line. We lost 110, so $1 will be the next appropriate. Worst case is 92. So I would anticipate one or the other to happen. There is potential we see a pullback in the price increase from here, but again, probably less likely. We can also see a diminished amount of volume, obviously compared to this one candlestick. It pales in comparison, right? But generally speaking, the volume is tapering off as well as the price. That implies less buying pressure, more selling pressure, and in turn, we're going to see the price continue to come down until the volume comes up, right? We just got to hope it comes up soon so we don't lose one of these 2 key level supports and or that trend line that's happening here. So again, not terrible, not great. It's kind of where we're at here. All right. So that being said, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the 1 hour and go from here. And we can obviously see the amount of volume that's been increased. All well and good, but again, it's tapering off, not great. So again, potential for lower lows on the 1 hour is still there. We want to factor in also TD sequential. We're coming down. We hit up to an 8, down to a 5, up to a 5, down to a 6, 4. So we're kind of in this little sell-off type of pattern that keeps hits 5 or 6s. That's pretty standard for the coins that overextend themselves. Looking at Ichimoku Cloud, we can see that we would want to have sold our position by now if we had. In other words, taking your profits might be advantageous because the price coming down is much higher than it coming up. Something to understand though, however, contrary to that is effectively the fact that we're traveling into the cloud now. So traditionally speaking, that's a no-buy zone. I got the question the other day, like, hey, why'd you take entry on the price being in the cloud? Well, it depends on its origination. Okay, if this coming from where it's at, it's still above this lower line, right? It's still considered a support. So until the cloud is broken, just say the price does this, then at this point this becomes a resistance. Until then, this is a support level. Okay, so it's not so much the upper, it's the lower if it's coming from the top, if that makes sense, and then the inverse as well. So generally speaking, you could still add your position and the price could come up, right? Because generally, this works as a support level as well as this does. But now that it's traveled into the cloud, it's generally a good idea not to take entry, but you want to look at other factors too. And the other factors are telling us that LRC is likely to come down, not up. So a case in point, we're adding to your position right now might be a little premature. I think the fact of the matter is it'll probably come down at least another 5 or 10%. Somewhere in the range of some between 92 and $1 would probably be my speculation at this point. Just again, this is the problem here. Okay, it's literally what 4 hours. Let's just say that's a 4-hour time frame. Once again, 4 hours, 45% in 4 hours. That is ridiculous. That should not happen. That is not ideal. If you're listening to other people that say that's a really awesome, wonderful thing, don't listen to them. That's just it's nonsense. It doesn't take any benefit. It takes a while for things to recover, and you're more likely to retrace harder than you are to have a continuation, right? So, we want to see this, not this. Okay, peaks and valleys are not ideal. They're trash, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That being said, LRC is still in good shape, much better than before. We have more volume coming into the market, the LRC market, so to speak, than ever before, at least on the recent past. Okay, so just keep in mind we've had a tapered amount of volume here today. That leads me to believe we're going to see the volume continue to decrease until we have an increase in volume and the price levels itself out. Okay. And if history is any indication of itself, you can see here, first of all, we had a strong green day followed by 2, almost 3 red days. Strong green day followed by 1 red day. Do you think there's going to be a second or a third red day? Very strong likelihood. And they'll probably end up accumulating closer to $1.92. Once again, we got a little support channel here between 92 and $1. I think that's where the price is going to end up. I hope not, though. I hope it continues to go higher. And for those of you who like to enjoy and benefit from those parabolic increases, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you set realistic profit targets that are based on key level Fibonacci retracement lines or previous resistance levels. So make sure, if you are just blindly holding this coin hoping for the best, you're doing it wrong. You need to set targets and have a trailing stop loss as well, so you can lock in those profits, rebuy in when the price comes back down and retraces to the next key level support. It's kind of a rinse and repeat type of thing, but right now we're in that secondary or that second or third potential day of consolidation, and we should expect a pullback perhaps in the near future once it gets more volume at a lower price point. But you can see these Fibonacci retracement levels are definitely places in which the price will probably consolidate. 92 to $1, that's the anticipation. I hope you understand and benefit what I hope you understand what I said and benefit from what I'm communicating here. I want you to learn to become a better trader. That's the bottom line. And I truly love teaching people how to trade. That's why I take the time to do this. So CryptoCache.tech is a site. If you want to become a better trader and just learn from the best, we've got an amazing community, weekly roundtable discussions, and just all in all, amazing experience with the signals. And of course, the Trading Academy. I've gotten some really good feedback recently from my members, helping me know that we're on the right track with that. So check that out in your own time. CryptoCache.tech. I look forward to becoming a better part of your life. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon. Thank you.